some reason, God has made me a crybaby. Well, the reason is because I'm experiencing his goodness. But when I do, there's like this thing that goes across my throat and doesn't allow me to speak, which is kind of awkward because you're sitting there looking at a bunch of ladies who are like, I hadn't said anything yet. And they're like going, wow, what's going on here?
Good morning, everybody, to our podcast this morning. Chuck Scott and I here to share. Thank you for all of you who've posted reviews on Amazon. Chuck doesn't even know how to log into Amazon, right? So, but you can help us because that helps us get the word out. Thanks for sending us texts and emails and pictures of how
I do know we need reviews.
Reviews. That's good.
That's the word, right? Reviews.
Yeah, that's what Amazon calls them, yeah. What happens is
leave a review if you like it. Only if you like it, though.
Yeah. If you do review and give us 5 stars, what happens is it gets into the logarithms that Amazon has, and it's like free advertising, and it gets the word out. You could join us in our mission. Today, we're going to have fun talking about, and we're going to have some depth, talking about a little bit of ladies and their reaction to living the Lord's Prayer and their men's reaction to them. You know, of the 6 forwards we had in the book, and Chuck still gives me a hard time about that, but we wanted to communicate that, you know, the book's for everyone. So there's some different celebrities, there's some different people of different colors and genders. And Joni Eareckson Tada wrote one of the forwards and encouraged ladies to give this to your man, and to pray him up. It's so gracious of Joni.
Thank you, Johnny,
to do that. And prayers for Joni, dealing with some respiratory stuff. Joni Eareckson Tada, for those of you who don't know, she wrote one of the forwards to our book, 2-time cancer survivor, many other things. She's been a quadriplegic since she was in high school from a diving accident, and has become a worldwide ambassador for the needs of not just the poor and the oppressed, but the physically and emotionally challenged poor and oppressed.
We've taken wheelchairs to Haiti through Johnny's organization.
Customizable wheelchairs,
which
is cool.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So it's really cool. Thanks also for joining us for the podcast. It's the one time in life that I get to see Chuck just slightly uncomfortable. See, Chuck is, we were on Young Life staff together for a long time, and we do golf retreats together and other stuff, really spiritual retreats, but we play golf. But Chuck's just like the greatest athlete in the world. He was a pro. He's the greatest athlete on Young Life staff. It was my honor to be number 2. People say I was pretty good, but he was number 1.
So back to
and
the
he's
book.
He's also he's like the second funniest guy in Young Life. And we've been around some funny guys. So I've heard Chap Clark and Tom Melton were funny, but they were older than us, so I never really got to see them being funny. But
Chap was funny.
That's what I hear. But there are guys like Marty Caldwell and Stu Graff, just really funny guys. A guy like Don Dirks, who's totally, let's just say he's relatively quiet and mellow and lets others talk a lot. But boy, that brother gets on stage and he's hilarious. He should have been a Saturday Night Live guy because he's spontaneous, improv. I've seen him do Bono and Bruce Springsteen and other stuff. But I know who I think the funniest is, Dr. Lasea. Because even off stage, just anything can turn into a skit. And it's embarrassing when I'm laughing when I'm praying, but Scott's even funny when he prays. So, but next to Scott Lasea, Chuck Scott is one of the funniest guys, natural humor. There's a story about Eat This, You Pig. That's a fun story we could get to if we ever do one of your retreats. That's not a recordable
podcast
story.
Is on the book.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's get there.
Yeah. So, but it's been fun to do these podcasts because this is not what Chuck wants to do. Chuck loves live, doesn't love this. So thanks for all your feedback when you send in feedback that the book's great and it was fun to watch Chuck be nervous on the podcast. So thank you for that. Warms my soul. Today, we're going to launch from a place, Chuck and I send each other pictures and testimonies when people send stuff to us. And he got a picture from a group of ladies who were using this as a small group study, doing Living in the Lord's Prayer, taking Johnny's counsel, totally embracing it for their women's study. We've got women's book clubs that have used this book for that. And some really powerful stuff has come out of that. Why don't you share a little bit?
Well, yes, one of my good friends, Billy Dre, her husband Charlie, they invited me to Bluffton, South Carolina. And while I was there, it was kind of supposed to be. It's kind of a little. It's really nice, fun community over on the water in
And
South
there's less
Carolina.
traffic than Hilton Head Island.
Yes,
less
very
traffic
much-
in
very
Bluffton,
much so.
Bluffton, yeah.
So I said, well, we'll go for 3 days. Julie and I, it's on the beginning of this tour I'm on right now, which is being away from home for 18 days. So some time with Julie on the front end, and then she went with me to the family camp.
Well, thanks for touching down here at the Cincinnati Podcast Studio in Cincinnati.
yeah,
Thanks for
here we are.
your time.
But so we expanded it to 3 days because Julie was going to go with me, and Billy set us up in this wonderful home on the water. I mean, it was just great. Well, my son's wife, our second granddaughter in Nashville, came a little later than expected, and Julie canceled on me. So it was just me in this nice, beautiful little bungalow on the water. And so since Julie wasn't coming, Billy's like, well, heck, you could speak. And so I ended up sharing 9 different, I did middle school kids, I did high school, at multiple schools.
Did this lady call Julie and ask her not to come? Was that the deal?
So, and then I did the college group, and then but the most terrifying of all is I went in front of like 25 women. I've never been to a woman's Bible study. Don't know that I ever want to go back. And
not because they're not good Bible studies.
Oh, let me just tell you, my first experience of a woman's Bible study, and my barometer of the Spirit moving and whatnot. Before we started, they said, she plays us. I'm going to play a worship song just to, for us to worship. And then Chuck's going to get up and share the book. And they're about halfway through. She picks Holy, Chris Tomlin's.
Yeah.
And Holy Forever. And I was just like, and that's my song. If you read the book, when I get to Hallowed Be Thy Name, I like to take some of my favorite worship songs, some old hymns. I mean, it's all everything. But that is the actual song I talk about in the book. And Chris is a phenomenal writer and singer, but that particular song just wears me out. And I just sit in this. Worship is a weapon that just kind of makes that distance between us and the kingdom of God just non-existent. I mean, I feel like I enter into it. She plays that. And the fact that these women are so much more spiritual than men. It's so obvious, because if I start feeling emotion, I say I've been seized by the power of a great affection. When I start getting like, oh gosh, I don't know if I can talk, it's Christ in me, the hope of glory. And so, a lot of people ask me, why can't you even just say that? And I go, because it's too good. It's just too good. It's too real. And I'm starting to live in it. I'm starting to experience it. And I couldn't even get up and say a word. That song ends. They're like, here's Chuck. And I'm like, and they're like, is he okay? I mean,
and when you say you couldn't say a word,
I'm emotional.
Some people are, if they're listening to the podcast,
Okay.
what you're describing is you were crying.
My emotion doesn't, for some reason, God has made me a crybaby. Well, the reason is because I'm experiencing His goodness. But when I do, there's like this thing that goes across my throat and doesn't allow me to speak, which is kind of awkward, because you're sitting there looking at a bunch of ladies who are like, I hadn't said anything yet. And they're like going, wow, what's going on here? And I just said, I've never done a woman's Bible study, but I can already tell you right now, there is just power in this room. I mean, it was men, not that men can't know Jesus, but my gosh, I mean, it was unbelievable. And so I just limped through the whole thing, but they were wonderful about it. And, you get that affirmation afterwards where somebody will come up and say, the most powerful part of what you just did was your emotion. And but I hate that part.
Right.
Because it almost feels like, well, that's why I do it. I feel like if I can shed a few tears, then, because that's the last, I don't want to do it. I used to run. If I felt emotion coming, I would steer away and go to a football story.
Right.
Because I know, well, I can't say what I'm about to say.
Yeah, but you played at Vandy, so aren't your football stories pretty sad?
That was tearful too.
Yeah. Okay.
But I would steer away because I was like, I don't want to cry. I don't want to show emotion in front of somebody. And that was another kind of growth moment where God, I've just really felt like, no, go there. And it's awkward for me, it feels like it's just being, just gets quiet and awkward. And yet somehow God uses that in a powerful way. But I got to do that, share with these women, and their questions about the book were amazing, but it was very encouraging that it's really a book that, I was focused on men and these, the guys I take on these adventures and whatnot. But to hear these women say it's having a profound impact.
Our Thoughts on the Rocks in Cincinnati for December, we're doing ladies' night, so guys can bring their wives, girlfriends, the women they work with, colleagues. Hopefully nobody brings their wife and a girlfriend. Hopefully that won't happen. Their adult daughters.
Cut.
Well, come on, man. Maybe we should have you and Julie come for that, and you could cry because I like it when you cry.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with you crying. But ladies, there you have it around the country listening to this podcast or watching us. If you want to have Chuck cry, please invite him to come speak at your women's retreat or your.
And Julie was supposed to be there with me. Maybe that would have helped. I don't know, but anyway, it was powerful, profound, but it was also fun. I told you I did middle school, high school, college, and there seems to be this prayer Jesus gave us seems to be applicable to anybody at all stages of life.
And when he gave the prayer the first time, when he said, here's how to pray, there were men, women, and children in the audience.
Sure.
And he didn't say, well, kids, just occupy yourselves while I talk to your parents. I mean, he gave the prayer for all of us. And later he even compared faith and said, if you don't come to me with faith like a child, you're going to be in trouble. And how many of us can relate to that? Outthinking ourselves in the prayer. And, the part of the point of sharing that story, though, is men or women or couples or singles or those who are married, single again, whatever somebody's place is in life. The Lord's Prayer is for all of us, as Jesus taught. Our Father, it's a we and us prayer.
An our and us prayer. You got to get your verbiage right.
Okay.
Never in the prayer does she say we.
Okay, well, I say
our
we because I
Father.
think we.
So it's an
us.
our and us.
Okay, our
Give
and
us,
us.
forgive us, lead us,
Thank you,
deliver
Chuck.
us.
You're a really good editor. That's really good. We'll fix that in post, right?
These are taglines of the book that you butcher.
Yeah, well, you're better at speaking in sound bites. I'm more of a full story kind of guy.
We Father.
So Chuck's getting obviously now more comfortable doing a podcast, so that's good. You'll be ready
I think we're almost done.
for
I'm
the
excited
future
to get out of here.
But hey, seriously, in small groups, people have asked us, are you going to do a study guide? And we really have been really excited to say, the study guide's in the book. We really worked hard at the questions at the end of each chapter and an action step. But small group leaders are finding that those are great jumping off points, and instinctive leaders around the country are able to just very naturally come up with other questions about the Lord's Prayer from the book. And we continue to invite you to send us your feedback. Let us know how the Lord's Prayer is affecting you. And Chuck, maybe in closing today, you have a question that you ask people about the impact. You want to know not just did they like the book or thanks for writing the book, but you have a question that you ask about the results. Why don't you go ahead and share that?
I just ask, how are you different? How are you different after kind of this process of encountering the Lord of the Lord's Prayer by diving deeper into the prayer he gave us? And that's really what I want to, my goal. If somebody reads the book, I don't want it to just be another book and they just put it on the shelf, but that their life is forever changed from whatever piece of the prayer it is that God has used to challenge you. So, and fun the fun part is I'm hearing some of those
Yep.
stories. And so I just say, not mine, but thine, and not me, but thee. God, use this to change the world. Because if the world knew the Lord of the Lord's Prayer, they would all come running.
Isn't that good? If they all heard the Lord of the Lord's Prayer, they'd all come running. And in closing today, I'll share about my good longtime friend, Bruce Elwood Osgood. And just talked to him in Georgia, and he's although he got to spend about 7 weeks in Montana, leading fly fishing trips this year. And he was just sharing about how his book's all highlighted up, and he wanted to thank us for writing it and stuff. We're still learning, guys. Chuck and I are still learning from the Lord's Prayer. We're still trying to deepen our own relationship
Today.
with the Lord of the Lord's Prayer today. And I'm curious, not to just go sign Bruce's book, but I want to read his highlights and his notes, because we still got more to learn. And friends out there, I hope you do too. Whether you're giving the book as a gift this holiday to your employees or colleagues or friends, whether you're using it for a group, we got plenty of contact information out there. If we can help in any way, we'd love to. But best of blessings on you today, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.